So in 2018, Sig revolutionized the carry market by coming out with this little guy. The first of the Micro 9s, the Sig P365. Now, despite having some growing pains, this eventually grew into quite a nice little pistol. And all of the other manufacturers are kind of clamoring to catch up. Well, this year, Taurus, of all people, came out with this, the GX4. This is Taurus's entry into the Micro 9 market, and it's actually a lot better than you might think. Let's get to work. So Sig being the OG to the market and Taurus being the new guy, we get a lot of questions on which one I would actually recommend. And I figured that we'd get these both out today, go over them, go over the features a little bit and how they shoot side by side, so I can help you decide which one you want to spend your money on. Now, first things first. The 365 here. The 365 is about a $500 gun. You can get them for a little less, a little more. Average out, we'll call it a $500 gun. This is the standard size. It comes with two 10-round magazines. They do also have an XL and an X model that come with various other options, but today we're going to compare just the 10-round. These are the closest in size. The other Sig 365s are actually going to shoot a little bit better than this one, so if you are interested in one of those, you can take those into account. Size-wise, these things are almost identical. Slide down, we've got the exact same length, the exact same height once the magazines are inserted, with the Taurus here being just a fraction of an inch thicker than the 365. Let's go over some of the options on each one of these. The 365 has a chassis system with a removable insert in the grip module here, which means that you can swap out these grip modules. The grip is it's a relatively smooth, comfortable grip in your hand. We've got a non-ambidextrous but swappable mag release. We have non-ambidextrous controls. The slide serrations are just deep enough to be able to really use without being deep enough to be a discomfort. Now the Sig here comes with Sig's X-ray night sights, which are actually pretty damn good night sights for stock sights. They have a high-vis front with a blacked out rear with tritium in both. My personal sight preference is something high-vis up front, blacked out rears. I appreciate that they put the tritium in there to give you night sights stock. Now the 365 does come with two mags. It comes with one extended and one flush mag. Go ahead and shoot the extended first. Now, one thing is the 365s, the frame is really, really tiny. Even with my short little midget hands, it does hang off a little bit, so I've got to be super careful when I'm inserting a mag to not pinch myself. Let's take a couple of shots. I think I was like 7 for 10. That's the 365. All right, now for the GX4. So the GX4 here comes in closer to like $300. Now I was the one that was closer to like $430, I think, because we got it right when it came out. But they come in right around $300. Now the GX4, still a non-ambidextrous. You've got your slide stop here. Got your mag release here. You've got a flat face trigger with the GX4. Now the Sig comes with a relatively hooky trigger, and the GX4 here comes with, it's not really a flat face trigger. It's like a 2-angle flat face trigger. The face is flat at least, but it does come with a nice wide safety tab, which I appreciate because the thinner safety tabs can really get uncomfortable when you're shooting a lot. Now, that's ironic because you're not going to be shooting this gun a lot. Neither one of these guns is overly comfortable or like fun to shoot. You're not going to, I mean, you can take these to a competition if you really want to, but it's not really their intended use. The GX4 sights are comparatively not so good. We've got a Glock front sight here that is just a single white dot. The backs are blacked out. They're not poorly made. They're not night sights at all, which you don't really expect that on a $300 gun, but for comparison, the competition does have night sights, so there's that. The GX4's got a little bit more grip on it, which means that you're less prone to pinch yourself, but still pretty prone to pinch yourself. Say that 3 times fast. The mag also does insert like fully into the frame. This is kind of weird. So you can see here the mag actually sits back behind this, which is it's nice. It does make it less prone to pinch. I guess they've got some shaping on the side to help you with stripping the mag if you do get it stuck. So that's, I guess that's a good design feature. I don't know. Let's shoot it. All right, so that's the GX4. So now that we've gone over some of the features of each one of them, let's talk about how they shoot. So the 365 here is a surprisingly clean shooting gun for its size. Despite being extremely small, it recoils way less than you might think it would. The trigger on the 365 is... I don't know how to explain the trigger on the 365. So you've got about 3/8 of an inch of overall take up on the trigger on the 365. But then you hit a lot of squish and it just rolls back through that squish about 3/16 of an inch overall past that. So like the majority of the newer Sig Striker triggers, this is not a nice crisp break, it is closer to a rolling break. Now whether you like that, whether you don't like that, all personal preference. I personally like a little bit crisper break, but I tend to shoot the 365 extremely well. So in the end, it doesn't really matter, it's all personal preference. The GX4 here recoils a little bit more, not as much as you might think, but the trigger on the GX4 is actually what I would consider a little bit better than the Sig's trigger. We got about half as much travel at a little under 1/4 of an inch, hard wall, and then a break. I'll post up the trigger pull weights to these down below. The reset on the GX4 is right back out to where the striker broke the first time, and it's a little bit audible, a little bit tactile, but you're really not gonna feel a whole lot there. But these aren't precision guns, so you're not gonna be riding the reset the whole time. The 365's reset is significantly more audible, not quite as tactile. And again, with the 365, you're gonna reset right at the front of that wall, but that wall is a little bit further out than with the GX4. So let's go ahead and shoot some of these side by side, one right after the other, be able to compare actual recoil impulse and how they shoot. All right, so for this one, we'll be shooting the 365 with the flush magazine and one of the 2 included GX4 mags that are both flush. Shoot the GX4 first. Now the 365. So after shooting both side by side, the GX4 is a little bit snappier than the 365. The 365 sits down a little bit more and the slide is a little bit smaller, which I think equates to a little bit less reciprocating mass, meaning it's gonna push back a little bit less. The GX4's grip is a little bit meatier. So when you get on it, you actually feel a little bit more confident with the GX4 when you're first kind of squaring up to something. But that being said, I don't think that it helps all that much. It doesn't change the feel enough that it's gonna matter that much. Let's do a quick time drill between the two and see if there's any indication on difference in timing between the two when we're shooting this. What we're gonna do is we're gonna shoot 2 targets. We've got 2 sets of steel out there. So we've got a target at 9 yards and 24 yards. We're gonna take 5 shots on the 9-yard target and 2 shots on the 24-yard target. Now, the reason I'm doing it that way is so I can get 2 shots on the 24-yard target. So let's go ahead and start with the 365. I'm gonna use the flush mag. And actually, the Taurus mags are actually 11 rounders, which is nice. It's ironic that everybody who's come out with a micro compact 9 since Sig came out with the 365 has been just bumping up that base round count. I mean, Sig did it first though. Let's go ahead and do this. We got 5 shots on the 9-yard, 2 shots on the 24. All right, so with the Sig, we got it in 534. Let's go ahead and finish off this mag because I can't leave a mag unshot. And then we'll switch over to the GX4. Now on to the GX4. So we got 622 with the GX4. So that actually kind of highlighted both of the issues that I have with both of these guns. The Sig, I actually had a little bit of trigger freeze when I was taking the short target. With the GX4, I had a little bit more of a problem hitting the far target because the sights just aren't as good as the Sig's. So all in all, between the two, I do think the Sig is the better gun. The trigger works well enough. The sights are just better, the recoil is better, the size is smaller, so it's easier to conceal. The GX4, however, is almost $200 less than the Sig. It's got workable sights. It is still a tiny, tiny gun. You get one more round with it. The trigger is better, but the sights I just don't like them as much. I don't think they're as good. And it's not quite as controllable. So I think in the end, what it's gonna come down to is where you want to spend your money. Are you going to spend your money up front on the Sig and get a gun right out of the box that's going to be everything you need? Or are you going to go ahead and buy the GX4 and have to upgrade some sights and just deal with the recoil? I'll leave that up to you. Personally, I would go the 365, but again, that $200 price point is like a really big deal for some people. So I hope you found this video useful. If you did, do me a favor and hit that like button down below. If you like this video and you want to see more, hit that subscribe button. If you like what we do here and you want to help out a little bit, do me a favor and head over to workthetrigger.com. Over there, you're going to find coupon codes, affiliate codes, links to our merch, and you're going to find a link to our 3D printed gun accessories. If you are interested in holsters for either one of these guns, head over to harrysholsters.com. Over there, you're going to find the Singleton, the single most comfortable holster I have ever worn. Not that I'm biased or anything, I might have helped design it. Use Work the Trigger for 10% off, guys. Remember, I appreciate every one of you, and until next time, do your research, get informed, and get to work.